Atlanta is a great place with, you know, just a phenomenal energy, man, and you really get the vibe or the notion that anything is possible here.
I agree with that.
You really do get anything is possible here. Atlanta's not a place where if you have aspirations to be anything, whether it's an architect or an actress or an athlete, you never feel like, oh, I have to move out of this place so I can get this done for myself. You can do anything here. You can do anything here, and that's magical. But I go to LA though, and I've had a house in LA since 2007, 2006 maybe, and it's a different kind of energy.
It is.
I feel more creative sometimes in the space of just conception of ideas or even like film scripts, stories, concepts, and all that kind of shit. You know, I feel a little more productive in that area in LA.
So in the creative space, there's a much greater creative vortex that's been created in LA by film and television and music for the last 100 years.
I'd rather make my music in Atlanta though. I'd rather make my music in Atlanta.
So do you write music in LA or what do you?
I do. Yeah, I do it anywhere, anytime, for any reason, with anyone. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have any real, like, you know, ain't no specifics on that. No criteria. It's just all I need is me, the mic, and the music for real. And yeah, I could do it anywhere. But I believe the energy, the vibe, like it feels more appropriate, or it feels more natural, effortless in Atlanta. I don't know.
The music
why.
side.
The music.
Maybe your music is telling the story.
True.
Of your life experience that's Atlanta based.
So maybe the uniqueness of Atlanta doesn't dawn on me until I'm outside of the city.
I think that's probably true, but I think also when I think about, so there is a very robust Black creative vortex in Atlanta.
Right.
Right? Amazingly so.
It is.
Whereas in LA, it's people from all over the world. So it's a different kind of creative vortex.
Right.
So there's a magic in Atlanta.
Right.
There's also a particular magic in Atlanta, at least this is me observing. There seems like a particular magic in Atlanta about being Black. In Atlanta.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? This is like the cultural center.
Right.
The cultural
this is where it pays
foundation.
Off. This is where the culture pays off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Coming to Atlanta, this is where it actually pays off. Like, you know, other places, it pays off to compromise the culture. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you go other places and, you know what I'm saying, you can kind of get paid for shucking and jiving and kind of just bullshitting around and not really playing it how it go. You get rewarded for that in other places. Here, you get rewarded
for being raw.
For staying solid. You know what I'm saying? Just
what do you mean by staying solid?
Staying solid is, you know, walking in your truth.
Walking your truth.
Walking in your
that's
truth.
What I meant by being raw.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just
being real.
Sticking to your path. You know, unapologetically, regardless of, you know, how unconventional it may seem to others. So I think that the energy that is in that, if you take that to LA and people say, "Oh man, this is really cool. We should try this." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
golly.
That's right.
You know, this just crazy enough to work.
That's right.
Whoever thought? Keeping it real.
That's right.
Shit.
That's right.
And I think that, you know, the infrastructure in Atlanta hasn't grown yet to be as vast and expansive as it is in LA. You know.
So that's our next evolution.
From the Netflix to the Warner Brothers, Sony, Universal, you know, all of these different places where you could go and kind of like, you know, create opportunity from just ideas.
That's development, right?
Absolutely.
So that's the development side of this business, which development has to be funded by capital.
Right.
So capital in LA knows how to make money off of movies and television and music and whatever, like all this creative industry. Whereas Atlanta has not been a place apart from the Black creative vortex, right? So there's this small vortex that is the microcosm of the Black creative vortex in Atlanta that makes money.
Right.
But outside of that, there's not a creative class really in Atlanta, and LA there is a thriving industry of a creative class that's just making content that's not just music content.
Right.
I mean, obviously Tyler's changing that. Tyler, but Tyler's kind of vibing off of the black creative vortex.
Right.
Whereas we don't have a white Tyler Perry in Atlanta, but if you go to LA, there's hundreds of them.
You don't have many Tyler Perrys in LA. You don't have many Tyler Perrys. You have Will Packer. And, you know, of course, you have like people like Fuqua and Kugler, but very, very few. You know what I mean? Even those guys, you know, they far and few in between. You know what I don't like about LA or the infrastructure in LA when it comes to film and television? I don't like that. Let's just say someone like me who's an expert in the culture, or expert in whatever world I'm presenting, to have to seek validation and approval from someone who's completely removed from the culture that I'm speaking of. And okay, so the reason that this is important, if I may, is because you aren't aware. It's important because you aren't aware. So if your reasoning for not investing is, I don't know what it is, I'm not aware, that's the fucking point.
That's exactly right.
You know what I'm saying?
But you have to find capital that's contrary. So just like when you build a movie studio in Atlanta, that is countercultural to capital in real estate.
Okay.
Because they don't know anything about it.
Right.
So if the capital markets don't exist. So the capital markets have to evolve inside of entertainment to make the kind of content that you're imagining.
Sure.
Which means you got to go find the money that gets the vision and takes that risk with you.